I've got two iPads on my desk right now. This is the M4 iPad Pro, my daily driver now for over a year. And this is the brand new M4 iPad Air. Same M4 chip. My Pro has 16 gigs of RAM because it's the 1TB model, but the base Pro gets 8. The Air, 12 gigs across the board. It sits right between the two, and for most people, that's more than enough. After using the Air for the past week, I'm starting to wonder if I backed the wrong horse. I'm going to show you in this video what you actually need, what you definitely don't, and how to get the best iPad experience on a budget for you. Stick around for the app section. There's one AI app in there that's unexpectedly completely changed how I use my iPad this month. But the first accessory I'd buy for both of these iPads isn't the Magic Keyboard. I think the Magic Keyboard is a mistake for most people, and that's just one of several things I'd do differently if I was setting up my iPad from scratch in 2026. But first, which iPad should you actually buy? Because I have thoughts. Thanks to Q-Tech for powering this video. Hi, I'm Simon. Welcome back to Better Creating. If you've watched my videos for any length of time, you'll know I've been going on about iPads for years. I bought my first one in 2018. I got 5 years out of it before I upgraded. 5 years, I genuinely get less out of a sofa. I take this decision seriously, and right now you've got two very good options. The M4 starts right now at $599 for the 11-inch, and this 13-inch I got here is $799. The Pro, you're north of $1,000 before you've even touched an accessory. The chip is the same, M4 in both, and the Air now gets shipped with that 12 gig of RAM on that base model, and I think that's up from 8 gig in the previous generation. That matters. It's the kind of headroom that will make the difference in 3 or 4 years when Apple's AI features are doing serious on-device processing. In fact, they're starting to do that now. You're not paying for today, you're paying for 2029. The real gap between them is the screen. The Pro gives you 120 Hz OLED. It's bright, it's accurate, and I'd call it a world-class LED. But the Pro is just smoother in how you use it. You can possibly see in how I scroll here. That is just how it is. My take, unless you need 120 Hz for creative work, or you just really want the thinnest, most premium iPad that they make, get the Air. It is Pro in everything but name. Okay, and you don't get Face ID. That is a really lovely thing to have, but this one does have Touch ID. Save your money, or better yet, spend it on the setup I'm about to show you, which will make way more difference to how you actually use an iPad day to day. One thing though, if you do go for this M4 Air, bump the storage up to 256 gigs. The base 128 will catch up with you, and an extra 100 quid will essentially save you clearing out files in a year while quietly resenting past you for being cheap. Right, whichever iPad you went with, let's actually set this up. The iPad accessory market is designed to separate you from your money. Cases, keyboards, stands, dongles. You could spend more on accessories than the iPad itself. So I've tested dozens, and I think you really need 3.5 things. If you're buying an iPad and you're not budgeting in for the Apple Pencil, then you're missing the point. The Pencil Pro has squeeze and gesture haptic feedback and that hover feature that shows you exactly where your mark will land before you make it. Whether you're sketching ideas or annotating documents, this is what makes iPad feel like iPad. Not the screen, not the chip, the pencil. One quick bonus tip though, if you're using the Pencil a lot, get a Paperfeel screen protector. I've been using the Paperlike brand for years. This is Paperlike 3. It's absolutely brilliant, and it adds the subtle texture to the glass, makes writing and sketching feel much closer to actual paper, and protects your display in the process. It's completely changed how the Apple Pencil and iPad feel for me. I actually also like the matte texture. It's better to view the screen with. So get one of these, link below in the description. Now, I know what you're thinking. Simon, the Magic Keyboard is right there. It is. It's also $320 for the 13-inch version, and it's heavy. It turns your iPad into a, well, chunky laptop wannabe. So if you wanted a laptop, genuinely, buy a laptop. Look at the new MacBook Neo. It's designed for exactly that market. Instead, I personally think there are better ways to go, and a standalone Bluetooth keyboard could be a better bet. And hear me out on this, because it's about the combination of items that make the difference. So let's just put this to one side. Talk about these in a moment, because, well, Okay, maybe not something as chunky as this. Well, it's kind of ceramic, isn't it? This is a beautiful keyboard from Keychron. I'll link it in the description. Ceramic keys and ceramic build, but well, you're gonna need one that's Bluetooth. This one isn't. And maybe this is a bit chunky to carry around, but there are some really great low profile, tiny mechanical keyboards out there that you can pair up with one of these and a separate stand and you're good to go. Or look at something like the Logitech Keys to Go, maybe Apple's standalone Magic Keyboard, the one that isn't bolted to the case. It means you can position it anywhere, and when you don't need it, it's not attached to your iPad making everything heavier. Pair that with a small, well, foldable mouse like this, the Microsoft Air 2, and you've got a workstation when you need one and a tablet in your hand when you don't. And it's your full flexible setup sorted for less than the price of the Magic Keyboard. But if you're not using the Magic Keyboard as your case, well, it means you can use something, I think, much more flexible and useful. Now, I have been using Moft's products across my iPhone and iPad for years now, and I absolutely love them. Every time you pick one up, it's just one of those brands where you go, oh yeah, I love the design. This is the Moft Dynamic Folio. I've talked about it before on the channel for good reason. It magnetically attaches to the back of your iPad, and most impressively, there are a load of positions that it will adapt into, particularly things like this that you just don't get from the Magic Keyboard. It weighs 10.5 ounces, and what's great is you barely notice it's there when it's on. It's totally ridiculous. The whole thing is a single sheet of origami inspired design, and it gives you 5 conventional angles and over 20 unconventional positions. The ones I actually use: floating creation mode, 30 degrees, lifts the iPad 2 inches off the desk for drawing and handwriting. Floating theatre mode, which is a 60-degree, 3-inch elevation, perfect for that second screen next to your laptop. Portrait mode, which is very nice for reading, which you can also use for other positions if you want, like that. And then what I particularly love in the innovation of this is this mode, which actually gives you a dual screen situation where you can drop your iPhone onto your iPad and have, say, video calls at the same time as taking notes. And the one that surprised me the most, well, it also mounts to your knee. Meetings, sofa, rehearsals, anywhere without a desk. It's scratch resistant, Movas vegan leather, and it comes for the Air or the Pro, so it keeps your iPad feeling like a tablet, not a laptop in disguise. Link in the description. Oh, and one more thing, if you're buying something like the iPad Air with 256 gigabytes of storage, you might find you want a bit more, and so I recommend getting yourself a tiny SSD. Something like this, the Crucial X9 Pro. It's really accessible. It's 2 terabytes, absolutely tiny. You can literally put a little magnet on it and attach it to the back of your iPad when you need it with a cable. It's really good. One small example of this shift towards more dependable tech is how we think about power. So I've been using the CP12 magnetic power bank from today's partner, QTech, and what I like about it is how little this thing asks of me. It snaps on magnetically, starts charging instantly, and then just stays put. Even when I'm moving around, throwing it in a bag or working on the go, it doesn't disconnect or go to sleep, and it works with so many different devices. I like this little extra connector that allows you to plug anything into it, and it's just really simple and works. And the strong magnetic hold means it feels more like it's part of my phone, which is exactly how good tools should feel, not bulky or disruptive. It's compact, gives me enough power for a full day. At 10,000 watts, this thing charges my iPhone 17 Pro damn close to twice, and crucially, it doesn't interrupt my workflow or my headspace. I'll leave a link below if you want to check it out. They've got a bunch of different styles and colors. Yeah, it's cool. So those are the accessories, but it's the app choices that you add to your iPad that really make the difference. So we need to go there next, and it's an AI app that I've been using across my Apple devices that's really changing how iPad works for me right now. So I think the best iPad setup in 2026 balances apps that let you do the human creating stuff, but also takes care of your busy work for you. So I've split mine into 2 buckets. But before we run through those apps, I'm sure you've probably noticed what my iPad Pro looks like. It's a little different. These are my custom icons, and they have matching widgets and wallpapers to go with them. You can set up custom modes and do things like this. So whatever your taste, I've got your back. So I've been running my own icon packs on this for years, And if you see the Air straight out of the box, you can tell the difference. It looks great, but I much prefer this cleaner, simpler view. I also love that the benefit of icon packs like this means that you don't have to see all of these notifications. It keeps it really intentional, if that's your thing. And I gotta say, these actually aren't from my packs. This is the new Apple Creator Studio. More on that later, because it really is something that's transforming the iPad. But I quite like the look of those icons, so I dropped them in there. So same iPad, but completely different feel. If you want your iPad to look more like this, I sell my minimal icon and wallpaper packs at bettercreating.com, including my latest physical buttons pack inspired by those wonderful designers Teenage Engineering and Dieter Rams, link in the description. Okay, human-friendly apps. Notability for handwritten notes, annotations, and thinking on paper digitally. I've switched to Notability this year, and the audio recording synced to your handwriting is a feature I didn't know I needed until I had it. It means you can write notes during a meeting, tap any word later, and it plays back exactly what was being said at that moment. So if you're a student or you sit through a lot of meetings, this pays for itself immediately. But yeah, I really recommend Notability. Check it out, link below. Procreate is probably a next level up when it comes to sketching and drawing and artistic work on the iPad. It's the one thing you should download if you own an Apple Pencil. It's still clearly the best illustration app on any tablet. The Apple Pencil Pro hover feature on this generation makes the experience ridiculously precise. And even if you think you can't draw, Procreate makes experimenting fun. But those two are really just the start, because Apple's own creative tools have quietly caught up. Creator Studio and on-device AI. This is where M4 or M5 chip really earns its keep. Final Cut Pro with beat detection that syncs your edits to music automatically. Pixelmator Pro with one-tap background removal powered entirely on device. Logic Pro for music production. These aren't watered-down mobile ports anymore. They're genuinely powerful. And the on-device AI features means that you don't have to be on the internet or on a server paying a subscription to get your pro results. You could pick up this iPad as a complete beginner and be editing video or removing backgrounds on pictures, color grading them pretty quickly. Check out my full Creator Studio breakdown and demos after this one. There's a really cool example of how you can mock up products on it, and I love it. Okay, Whisper Flow. This is the one I teased at the start. Voice to text AI interface, not dictation. It works entirely beautifully across all of your Apple devices, and instead of typing, you just click a button and talk, and it transcribes the context and formatting. So with iPad, where typing has always been a little bit compromised, if you don't want to have a magic keyboard on it, this has completely removed the friction. And actually, it probably means you don't need this either. It's genuinely making a keyboard optional for me for most tasks. And I mean, honestly, I just say everything to my computer now. And on that note, Notion with Notion AI combined with Whisper Flow, and bias obviously, is what's changed this year for me completely in my workflow. I'm moving faster, I'm building things, and I'm working with an AI agentic team of specialists in my workspace. I can ask my iPad to find information across my entire workspace, draft content, summarize meeting notes. It feels a lot less limited and seriously productive. It's completely changed things. And so on that note, I would say a good LLM app, an AI app, right? ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you prefer. I'm a Claude guy, or to be specific, Claude with Notion using my Agent OS instruction system. It's personal, context ready, and great to chat to on iPad with Whisper Flow. So 2 buckets, human creativity apps where you do the thinking, AI apps that handle the rest. Get the balance right, and an iPad stops being a nice to have and starts genuinely being a daily driver, particularly with that voice dictation. Let me know in the comments what you make of that approach. That's the setup. Air or Pro, same accessories, same apps, same experience. And if you want to take your home screen customization even further, you definitely need to watch this full setup and customization guide next. And if you want to see how AI is changing how I work across everything, it's this one next. Subscribe if you're not already, because, well, it would be great to have you back, and I'll see you on the next one.